We had textbook VWAP setups today off of the New York VWAP, making $1,200 on just one trade. But there were plenty of opportunities if you know how to play these prices off of these key levels, as well as reading that 15-minute. I just want to go over the month real quick first. I'm not going to go into all these trades. I have videos on all of them. But just looking back at it now, on the 8th, my only red day of the month so far, if you look back on your own charts, the 8th was the choppiest day probably this month so far. No trend continuation. My bias was eventually right, but it wasn't until way in the afternoon. So it makes sense, I guess I'd say, of why my red day was on the ugliest of days. But when we have clean trend like we ended up having today, I'm able to play off my key levels, read the trend, and go to continue it. So let's look at my trade here. We took this on stream this morning. Austin played it a little bit earlier than me, I believe, and I was playing it once we found nice support at this New York VWAP. So the first trade, my only trade, I just have two markups here, is see how we have a nice bearish open actually, but I'm not getting sucked into the shorts because I'm not actually fully bearish biased yet, and the opening range is still setting. I want to see who breaks the opening range first, buyers or sellers. So you can see we actually form the opening range low, but rally and break the open range high. So a pretty strong recovery after that move down at the open. So nothing for me there, right? I don't want to chase that first break of open range high. I probably have a million videos on it by now. It's also taught in Futures 2.0 on ASFX TV, the course that I walk through. I don't want to be chasing that first break of open range high because it normally doesn't run very far. And on the other side of things, sometimes it's just inducement to actually reverse and go the opposite way, which would be why I'm not just buying it once it comes down to New York, because there is a chance sellers take back control and it moves back lower. So there's a couple steps to it. But once we see now what looks to be a higher low, buyers are holding this New York VWAP very nicely, and it breaks the high day VWAP in purple. Now buyers are back in control. The second break of open range high is a lot more likely to run than the first. So I feel confident buying it around this key level. But the most important thing, or one of the most important things about this setup, is the stop loss at low of day, which is the opening range low here, right? Because if you reverse it here when current structure, the least safe place to put a stop loss, right? Because the worst thing that would happen is you get stopped out because you had a tight stop loss right at that higher low, thinking that's going to be the last higher low that we make. And then you see it move higher without you. So as long as you can give it all the space, saying as long as it doesn't make a new low a day, I still want to be long. Then you get yourself in a position to give the chance all the room it needs to work itself out. So thankfully we don't get tapped out of it. And you can notice I don't even get 1R out of this move, but it's irrelevant. I'm trading level to level, especially mid-range like this when it is kind of sideways. It's been 40 minutes and we're kind of right back where we started the day. But I do like the longs more than shorts. We're holding this view up, so let me give it a try. But this blue view up on top is the previous day's New York. Now, could it have broken through it? Sure. But I don't want to predict that or hope that it's going to break it. I'll just trade level to level. If it breaks through it and moves higher, I could always get back in. That's another key lesson on this video I want you guys to know, of just always being able to get back in, right? I don't need to hold on to this position forever. If I get rid of this trade and just slide this over and pretend it was all one big trade for my perfect 1R, that wouldn't have came until maybe over here, 11 o'clock to 11:20. Who knows, right? But look how much more stressful, even though it is in profit, of seeing it go up 0.7R, back to break even, small drawdown, slightly break even, back into drawdown, and then I finally get the push to 1R. To me, it's more worth it for my mental capital and my weekly battery to get in and out of this trade in 10 minutes for 0.7R than hold it for an extra 40 minutes to an hour and get the full 1R, right? Just not worth the tax it could have on my mind of just having to sit through these pullbacks, get impatient, want to micromanage it, move the stop loss to break even. And I'm trading level to level. It might never want to come back up to this previous day's New York VWAP. So rather than hold on to it forever out of greed, I also don't want to predict that we're going to just break through it. Another key part of this trade, if I bring up the 15-minute here, why I like the longs more than shorts heading into the open. You can see to start the week, we gapped down, but we quickly tried to fill that. But what are we above? This black VWAP here at the open, that's actually what the move down was, just a retest to that overnight VWAP. So the fact that it bounced so strongly off of that, I really like the longs down there. Couldn't find myself to get into a trade down there, but definitely looking bullish. Buyers are more so in control above the overnight. They're now back above the New York on my 1-minute trade. But this is where I'm getting out of my trade on the longs. And it makes a lot of sense because it's acting as strong resistance so far, a little bit pre-market here at the open as well. So let me just get out in case this wants to turn around and maybe, as dramatic as it could be a lower high. Who the hell knows? So just get in, get out. I could always look to trade it again if I get another entry. And that's what this second markup was at the beginning. So if we get rid of my trade, and just slide it over, it makes, let's get rid of all the notes too, it's getting crowded. But if we look at the trade I get out of, new high a day, pulls back, what does it still make? Another higher low. Buyers take back the New York again. That in and of itself is another entry idea. So you could have either taken this first trade, rode it to the top, gotten out, and maybe now getting back in. And same thing, stop loss below previous structures. You could still maybe want to go with low of day. Of course, it's going to be more conservative. It's not going to be a bad idea, but same idea. Let's say you trade it back up to the previous day's New York VWAP again. Same place we got out in the first one. Again, it's not 1R, but you're making 0.8R and 0.7R in the day. It's still a very healthy day. And those 1R trades are just going to come. So don't get too hung up on the risk reward. Making $800 if you risked $1,000 is better than letting it come all the way back down and make zero. And then trade it again, it comes back down and you make zero, right? End the day green, put money in your pocket, look to trade again on the next setup. But this is the same idea of holding New York. You could have even longed it over here on that New York bounce and break of high a day. Just really nice plays off of the New York today, but trading into a view up above you. But now let's look into the afternoon of even if you missed somehow, maybe even this pop that I took or this second one, there's two solid trades there off the New York. Let it break above the New York. Now it's telling you, hey, yeah, we can get above this, right? Because I mean, you could even go back to here. Up until that point, maybe this is still trying to hold it, right? The worst thing to do would be long it here and it does come down and you're like, yeah, why did I long it into that ceiling? So you let it break above. Say, can buyers break above this? Then I'll react and try to find more trend continuation plays. And that's exactly what you get. So you get a new high a day, just let it drift higher. But now let's anchor our high a day VWAP. So you can see buyers take control of it pretty strongly on this break here, we'll say. But a stop loss at current structure, right there, the tight current structure of 4 points. I don't think I'll ever have a 4-point stop on ES. But regardless, 4 points, current structure, too tight, get stopped out. But you don't want to not be long anymore. Buyers are still in control. Structure is still overall bullish today. But if you go with previous structure to the left, back here at these pins, right? The next higher low, now you give yourself a chance to hold through. And it's a little bit more stressful, but you shouldn't lose that trade. It comes back up and it makes the next higher high with you involved. Now let's look at a different example. Let's say you do get stopped out because you did go with the tighter stop. Definitely don't switch to the shorts. The next time buyers take control of that high day view up here, you'd probably be looking to just get right back in. Another re-entry, give it another try. You're not wrong in the longs yet. Maybe we were just early. Maybe we had a tight stop. Let me try it again. And then this time the buyers are in control and you can make your money back and some, right? But just clean, identifiable trend, just following the structure, looking for those bigger pullbacks, right? I make videos all the time, but I'm not really interested in these small little drifts like that, small little pullback, like even these small ones back here. Not really significant enough for me. I have plenty of examples that I go over of what I'm really looking for, like these bigger extended ones that cover more points or they cover more time value wise of like 40 minutes or an hour. Not to confuse anybody, but just obviously the bigger the better. But if you just clear all the VWAPs out, structure today, clearly higher highs and higher lows. So I know I want to be a buyer, and the best ones come off of a key level of either the New York, or even this previous day's New York VWAP retest. So if you just play with the direction of trend on the right side of New York, you can find really favorable plays. And then it's just really just not getting too induced by the higher time frame of keeping it simple. If I know we're being pinched, another reason why I got out of that trade, because this early on in the morning, I don't know if we're going to break above the previous day's New York. It's not until afternoon where we know we did. So I'm very pleased with getting out of the trade early and missing more of the move because I'm never going to catch it all anyways. But I followed the rules. I got out where I should. And especially, if we go back to the 1 minute here real quick, this first trade that I took, I got out at the previous day's New York. And then when I think I have it marked up here. This is what the trade looked like when I got out. So when I see this now happening, I'm saying, good thing I got out. That would have been very annoying to be up 0.8R and see it turn around for either a donut, because maybe my stop loss is locked, or even potentially take a loss, because who knows what this wants to do next. So well executed. We called it out on stream. Also made money on the longs. I made money on the longs, as did the chat. So it's really clean. Hope you guys found value in it. Hope you guys check out the Futures 2.0. Like I was saying, if you just go to AceFX TV, you can get your first month for 50% off if you just use my code. But the Futures 2.0 here, I'll break down all these entry criteria that I do in the videos as well. But A through Z, everything that you need. So definitely tune into that. And you can tune into the streams that I trade these ideas on every single day. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys always leave a like, leave a comment. What videos you guys want to see next. Appreciate you guys always tuning into stream as well. Make sure you check out the Top 1 sale. Their July sale is still running for the Sim Pros as well as the Instant Funded, so check that out down below. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.